afternoon. I'm Dara Bunjon. I am the food enthusiast here at J Moore Living. I'm a food writer, food stylist, PR maven, and a very frustrated baker. All our shows are archived in our Facebook page and our website, jmoreliving.com. So feel free to go back and dig back through the 90 some episodes that we have there and take the show for your walk, your runs, or your drives. Today's guest is Baltimore's own rock and roll badass breakfast maestro, empathic chef whose Blue Moon Cafe and Blue Moon Cafe 2 has garnished praise in such medias like Diners, Drive-In, and Dives, New York Times, The Washington Post, USA Today, Gourmet Magazine, Southern Living, and the list goes on and on and on. A world traveler, cooking for troops around the world. Let's welcome Sarah Simington. There she is.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, Sarah, what's on your plate today?
Not a lot, actually. I took my niece to the dentist, and then I'm going to go get a massage.
Well, I would like to get that massage
right?
too. I love
It's a self-care day.
Self-care day.
We did order, we just got back into Baltimore. I've been down in Cheekateek, Virginia, and we just got back to Baltimore. And of course, the first thing we did is we had to get a pizza from Di Pasquale's. So to continue on the self-care mode.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. So they have one over, where in the city do you live? Is it
I'm in Fells Point, yes.
You're in Fells Point. Okay,
yeah.
So you go over to the Di Pasquale's, the new Di Pasquale's?
Yes, this one, yeah, I ordered, Grubhub.
Okay.
Well,
All right. Let's talk about your restaurant. So your mom opened Blue Moon Cafe in Fells Point in 1996.
We opened it together.
Right.
As 50-50 partners.
Okay. What was the genesis to open a breakfast-only cafe restaurant?
When we first opened, we were not breakfast only. We did breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We were 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. And, we just all sorts of good food, comfort, always the same styling stuff. And our very first write-up was actually from, what's her name? Martha from the Sun Paper. And she came in.
Elizabeth Large?
Yes, maybe that was it. It was Elizabeth Large. And she came in and she only wrote up the breakfast. And that just kind of was like, oh, okay, that's what Baltimore wanted from us. So that's what we gave them. And it just happens to be my favorite. French toast has always been my favorite food. We had diners and restaurants growing up. So, those hours were in the blood. It's what we do.
Well, yeah. So if I'm correct, we've had a 25th anniversary of the opening.
Yes, August 10th was our 25th anniversary. So I guess now we're getting close to 26 years.
Yes. Well, you're midway.
Yeah.
You're 25 and a half.
25 and a half. A quarter and a half.
I say I'm 74 and a half.
Ooh, girl, you look good.
Yeah, well, nothing that injections won't help.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm telling more about me. Now, you're doing breakfast. You are famous for the Captain Crunch French toast.
Yes, ma'am.
What are, if I was going to say, name the 3 top items on your menu, what are they?
Well, obviously the Captain Crunch French toast, the Sweet Baby Jesus, and the cinnamon rolls.
Okay, so let's go with the Captain Crunch and tell people a little bit about how that came together or what's in it or what's on the plate.
Well, with Captain Crunch French toast, if I can be completely frank, I created it about 25 years ago. I lived upstairs of the Blue Moon. I smoked a lot of weed and had the munchies, and Captain Crunch is my favorite cereal. French toast is my favorite food. I went downstairs when we were closed and was just, kind of recipe tasting. I had Black Sabbath playing, and it just kind of happened, it was a little lightning bolt. and it was delicious. So basically, I take the thick sliced bread, dip it in an extra creamy batter. I'm not going to give you all the secrets away, but it's not just your average. It's more of a custard batter than just a French toast eggy batter. And then I crunch up Captain Crunch and then encode it. And then we lay it down with some butter oil. You got to use a little oil with your butter. Otherwise, it's going to burn and get soggy.
Right.
And grill it up. It gets all crunchy. Something about the mapley flavor in the Captain Crunch just caramelizes so well. And it just reads across just beautifully. And then some fresh whipped cream and fresh berries to kind of beat out the sweetness of it. I don't put a lot of sugar in our French toast because, you know, people put syrup and all that kind of stuff. You don't need all that sugar in the batter itself. Let the cuisine speak for itself. And that was that. And it just took off like crazy, you know? And then, of course, in 2008, we got the call from the producers from Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. And then once it got some television, it got real popular. And that's the year that we stopped doing lunch altogether because my girls couldn't keep up with it. I didn't have space. It was all about Captain Crunch.
And the building you're in, and people who are tuning in that aren't in Baltimore, the first Blue Moon Cafe was in historic Fells Point.
Yes.
The building that you're in, you lived above it. But that building, that's what, from 1700s?
1700s, yeah. It's very, very old, which is actually, I know you and I were discussing earlier, we may have to close this weekend because it's going to be in the negatives and 1 degree. And there's no insulation in this building. It's just brick, you know, held together by my sheer will. So, well, you know, we'll see. So keep your eyes open on the social media to know if we will actually be open in Fells Point this weekend.
Well, people can jostle over to Federal Hill.
Yes, Federal Hill. It's got a brand new HVAC system. The building was just newly renovated. You know, it's in better shape. But, you know, that's half the charm of the Fells Point. Fells Point is so historical, and the building itself is as well. You know, it's, again, that's part of the charm. It's little, it's falling apart. To dive.
Right. And we'll come back to it. Well, maybe since we're at it, that you're an empath. You pick up spiritual, there are ghosts in the building.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Fells Point is very, very haunted. Living there, I saw many things. I mean, my next goal, if we can put it out there, is to actually get maybe some of the investigative television shows in. I'd love to have like Ghost Hunters or something like that come in. There's different things there. I mean, without getting into that whole line of it. Yes. Blue Moon is definitely a hashtag haunted restaurant.
Well,
and we've had all of our customers have had, well, not all, a lot of our customers have had experiences. All of the employees have had experiences. We actually had a customer get up and leave. They're like, nope, nope, this isn't happening.
Well, is that why you came up with your second biggest dessert, Sweet Jesus?
Yeah, the Sweet Baby Jesus. That actually named itself. We were just calling it a stacked hash brown. You know, it was just, again, one of those things that I was cooking in the kitchen and just started. I mean, it's Maryland, you know, you have to have the crab meat. We had a crab Benedict, but nothing's better than our hash browns. So why not put the crab on the hash browns? And then while we're at it, let's put some Old Bay all over it, because what else? And then hollandaise. I mean, you know, it was one of those that just came together. And when we would sit it down in front of people, they would go, "Sweet baby Jesus." Or when they were done eating, it was always the same exclamation. So it named itself. I was like, well, you can't get much better than that. Now, we've had a little backlash because, you know, some people get a little offended. I'm like, you can call it the SBJ. It's fine, you know.
Well, you're always going to offend somebody somewhere. Somehow.
Yeah, probably people watching this. Please excuse the mess back here. I just got into town and, you know, my house is a disaster. You can see it's in bad shape. My 18-year-old niece is sleeping on the couch, and yeah, that's what it looks like.
Let's talk about the cinnamon rolls.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just had one yesterday. I've been making them for over 40 years and I still crave them. They're that good. They really are.
And they're tedious to make. During COVID, I got into baking and yeast. I mean, you couldn't find yeast during COVID.
Right.
It was like gold. I remember
Mhm.
doing a show saying you can pick up a little bit of yeast at Orders for X amount of dollars.
Mhm.
But I made cinnamon rolls from scratch, and it takes a while to make
Yeah.
them, and it takes an amount of patience. But you are now doing cinnamon roll wedding cakes.
Yes, and that is so much fun. Sorry, I lost part of my earpiece.
That's okay.
Yeah, we love making the cakes. It's such a unique and fun, I think we did our first one like 3-4 years ago now. God, probably 4 or 5 years ago now with the it's like I lost 2 years with COVID, not just I, everybody. But
Right.
so probably like 5 years ago now, we made our first one. Somebody requested it, and I was like, well, that's a really cool idea. Yeah, we'll do that. And now it's just taken off. We sell quite a few.
Um, just to tell people that if you want to learn more, the website is
That's the sticky thing right there. We do not have a website right now. The website that was linked was actually stolen. A few years ago, somebody came in, they bought the domain like the day that because the GoDaddy thing, you have to go in, you have to get it. My fault. I let like 2 days go by without re-upping it. Somebody swooped in, bought the domain from Dubai, and was trying to sell it to me for $80,000. So, and
you
now it's still up and I can't get it down. We've tried all sorts of different methods. It's got all of our old pricing on it. People get very upset. And I mean, if anybody knows how to handle this, please contact me at bluemoonbreakfast at Gmail, because I am in desperate need of getting this old website down.
Well, I didn't know that. I know that you just had your Instagram ransomed.
Yes, my Instagram was hacked. I received you have been verified message from Instagram. So, that little blue check that goes next to your name that says you're a big deal. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I was in Iceland. So I plugged in, and to get, to follow through on it, you had to, of course, log in with your username and password. And the second I put in that password, I got ransom notes saying that they were holding it for hostage. And, if I didn't pay them, then they were going to sell it. And of course I never responded. I didn't pay them. I was like, no. But I worked for the military. So I had some friends that did some digging, and we did find out that it is from somebody in Baltimore. So as disheartening as it is, it's probably somebody I know. An intentional attack. Isn't that horrible?
Right. So let's bring it up. Your Instagram now is
Blue Moon Baltimore.
Blue Moon Baltimore.
Yes.
Folks, go on and like the page. She lost her 22,000 followers.
22! They were all organic too. I didn't buy any of them. Those were mine. Ours, I should say. It was my Baltimore's.
And that's hard. I've been on Instagram since God knows when. I think I'm up to like 2,400 people. You can follow me too, folks, at Dara Cooks on Instagram. Let's talk about COVID and how you've been able to manage it with both restaurants and staffing.
Yes. Well, one, I'm very fortunate. My staff has been with me for a very long time. Once you work at Blue Moon, you kind of work there forever. And I've, knock on everything around, have not had the staffing issue that a lot of places have. We're still all here. It's all still the same people. We closed for about 6 weeks on the March 16th when the first close down went, while I wrapped my head around what was happening and figured out how to keep everybody safe, especially the staff and stuff like that. And then when we reopened, it was like gangbusters. The community was so supportive. And they just, we were carry out only, and it was great. It was fantastic. It warmed my heart to actually see the community, and, it was good for my ego a little bit too, if that makes sense, to you forget after 25, almost 26 years, you forget that people do really love and support you, So it was, in a strange way, it was beautiful.
I understand that. And I sort of had that same realization when people know my husband passed away, and I just had an open house for a couple of days. How many restaurateurs and people in the food industry sent food? I didn't know.
Yeah.
It just showed respect for what I've been doing in the industry, because my hand's not really out to restaurateurs for anything personal.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in supporting them and know how tough the business is. Well, enough on that. Let's talk about your link with Guy Fieri
Mm-hmm.
and how that has expanded into working with the Navy and the
Mm-hmm.
Army and traveling the world. You've been to Africa, you've been to
Yes.
Guantanamo. Fill us in more on that.
Well, it started off with the America's Chefs, and then it moved into the Mess Lords. And now I'm not a part of either of those. I'm more on just on my own, and I work for Navy Entertainment. And I've been everywhere, like you said, Guantanamo Bay, Africa, the Middle East, multiple times. I've been out on 2 different aircraft carriers. I mean, uh, I get, I get caught up with it because it means so much to go out there and bring a taste of home to these men and women that have given up and sacrificing everything for our safety and freedoms, and just to kind of remind them and stoke them out and be like, here's Captain Crunch French Toast. This is why you're doing it, because if you weren't doing this, I wouldn't be able to do this. And to show the appreciation. I mean, the travel aspect obviously is a perk for me, as I love to travel. I'm an adventurer, but just to see these kids, which basically most of them are, get to eat a good homemade meal, it means everything. Actually, I was the very first person in the world, most likely, to make crab cakes on an aircraft carrier in the middle of the Persian Gulf. I made little mini crab cakes for thousands of sailors.
And were you able to import the Maryland crab meat?
No. No, unfortunately not. As a matter of fact, it was crazy. We ended up picking a ton of little crabs. We ended up mixing we did snow crab. We had to mix it all a bunch together. In that situation, you kind of just get what you can. Because, they get deliveries every 3 weeks, and it's deliveries meaning via other ship pulling up and helicopters.
Coming in, right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, out in the field.
Yeah.
Africa.
Yes.
That the men serving there were basically eating out of, what was it, Ziploc packets?
Yeah. In Djibouti, Africa, I've been there twice now, and it's what they call boil a bag. So they're on 3-week rations, and everything they get comes in these plastic bags that you boil, cut, and serve. Like, there's no freshness. And these guys are like working 12 and 24-hour shifts. There's also no labor laws, in the military. So they're working these crazy hours. They're doing all these things. And, especially with it's a lot of work. Let's just put it that way. And they're eating nothing but preservatives and really just horrible food. Just some really bad stuff.
Yeah. In your travels, has there been one thing that's impacted you that you're going, that this good, bad, or indifferent, that it stuck with you?
I guess that's kind of a loaded question and very open-ended. There's everything. Everything sticks with you when you travel. That's why you do it. You don't go anywhere without coming back a different person. At one point, we went off base in Djibouti, and we were driving, and this woman offered me her child, for change. Like, you can't see those kinds of things and be the same person, But at the same time, when you go and you see the joy that some of these kids have, and the freedoms that are given when they don't have the luxuries that maybe we do in the United States and stuff like that, and it's a lot.
It's an eye opener for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking into, now that Blue Moon and Blue Moon 2, they're sort of doing breakfast and brunch.
Yeah.
But what are the hours now for eating in? Everything's changing, but what are your current hours?
Right now we're 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. For a while we were open till 9 p.m. We were 24 hours on the weekends, and I really miss that shift, but it's just not feasible now. So we're just straight 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., but you can rent out the locations, and we'll do parties in the evenings and stuff like that. We're going to work towards having maybe some markets, because the Federal Hill location is beautiful. Thank you. I did it myself. Just to brag. Super humble. but it's large. Like we can move the tables and we can have craft fairs and we can sell goods and stuff like that to help other small businesses and things like that. We really want to, I think one thing that this COVID has taught us is community, and working together. You're not going to get anywhere by yourself. It takes a village, it really does.
That it does. I was looking into, doing this when we're talking breakfast, and I think everybody sort of knows the phrase behind the most important meal of the day is breakfast.
Yes.
Do you know the history behind that?
No, but I feel like I should. Or I do somewhere. I told you I'm sleep deprived, so it might be in here somewhere.
Okay. I looked it up. I was just curious. It wasn't like anything. And it sort of rang that maybe I heard about it. The most important meal of the day is breakfast. And this came from the 19th century. John Harvey Kellogg and his partner.
I like Kellogg.
To sell their newly invented breakfast cereal.
Yeah.
It was their marketing.
I love that. That's such good knowledge.
I have
Being as I'm in the business of cereal.
Right. What food can you live without?
Oh, man. Well, I don't like goat cheese. I'm not a big beef and meat person. Definitely goat cheese, goat milk. Yeah, I hate rosemary, ginger. Yeah, those would be the ones. Organ meat, that's a no dice.
Right. And you're not prone to Asian food, or are you?
I like some Asian food, yeah, but like I'm not going to be the person that goes like, let's go get Chinese. If anything, it would be, I feel like the sun is just like glaring. I can't really see anything. Is that a little better? Hey.
You're fine. Well,
there's my treadmill.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I like Thai food a lot, but if there was a general cuisine, Chinese is my least favorite.
Okay. And on the cusp of that, let me remind everybody that Chinese New Year's is February 1st.
I'm Tiger. You're the Tiger.
Yes. And let me say this. Xin Yan Hai Lo. Hopefully I pronounced it right. That's how you say Happy New Year in Chinese. Xin Yan Hai Lo. I did it phonetically. I'll hear from somebody that I screwed it up, but it was worth the effort.
Heck yeah. Happy New Year.
Thank you. To everyone, the year of the tiger.
Yeah.
What piece of advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
There's a couple. Again, in one, take care of your teeth. They really are the most important. It's the most important thing you can do for your health, for your vanity, for just life in general. Take care of your teeth.
Now, I'm going to tell you a story. There was a movie called Prelude to a Kiss with Alec Baldwin and Meg Ryan.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
And just to tell everybody, Meg and Alec are getting married, and some strange old elderly man wanders in and kisses the bride. Well, at that time, the souls switch. And this old man's inside of Meg Ryan. And Alec Baldwin's figuring it out, whatever. And here she is in this young body, and this old man in there, and says, if I can tell you anything in life, take care of your teeth.
See? Yes. That movie was one of my favorites. It helped me define what I thought love was going to be, because I thought, if he knew it wasn't her, even though it was her, he could tell that it wasn't really her. I was like, that's so romantic.
It's a great movie, everybody.
Yes.
Prelude to a Kiss. Check your streaming channels and see if you can find it. It's really quite enjoyable. And take care of your teeth.
Yes.
So there's a second piece of advice you give yourself?
Well, second piece, and this is, I think it goes along kind of with my field. I think, there's a real issue in the restaurant and, bar scene, of course, drugs and alcohol. Don't do the cocaine. Stay away from the cocaine. Don't do it. It's going to hold you back. It's not going to be good. Don't do drugs. Well, I know that sounds silly, but it's not.
Well, I take it, people, or if it's life experience, and you're going with that. All right. Let's see.
You didn't think you were going to get such candor with me, did you?
No. Hey, look, I'm a child of the 60s. I
Right.
joke. I tell people, I said, I'm a child of the 60s. Take it for whatever it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I have 4 megs of RAM. I mean, yeah, 4 megs of RAM in a lot of bad sectors. That's my comment. So if you understand computers,
Not
you
a bit.
get that. There are a lot of things I tried in my ute.
Yeah.
In my ute. Let's see. You're originally from California, am I
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. But you've done genealogy.
Yes.
And you
Actually, I
have,
just sent one off for Christmas.
oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I just got one of those 23andMe's and sent it off to get a little more info just for fun.
Right. But
Mm-hmm.
you had relatives in Salem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we
And
came
you were in
over on
Salem in Halloween. How was
yeah.
that?
Halloween before last, I was in Salem, but I was in Rockport as well this past August for my birthday. That's my goals. I assume that'll be one of the questions coming up. Is what I'm looking forward to. It would be to open a Blue Moon in that area, in New England. My direct descendant is Captain Richard Moore, who came over on the Mayflower as an indentured servant, and he stayed there, and he ended up, helping to build up the city itself. And I mean, that's all of our roots. I'm named after Sarah Noyes, who was married to the Reverend Noyes, who was a part of the Salem witchcraft trials. And, it's all in there. I feel
all
like
there.
I need to be there. I got a New England soul. It's my favorite weather. I love it. I love the people. I love I love Baltimore, don't get me wrong, but I feel like that's kind of where I'm headed.
I think do you tend more to cold weather? Because I know you've been to Reykjavik and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just went to Iceland. Yes, I like the snow. I like cold weather. I'm about fed up and ready for some 80-degree days right now, but I would only like maybe 2 weeks of that. Then let's get to can I get 2 weeks of summer, 2 weeks of winter, and then a whole lot of fall and spring?
got it.
But I love the
Got it.
snow. I'm looking forward to the snow. That's my favorite.
Do you ski?
I don't, but I snowmobile, and I like to drink hot chocolate laced with Rumpelmans, and I like all the
Okay.
other things that go along with snow.
Let's see. All right. What are we doing time-wise here? We're doing okay. Your epic culinary fail.
I don't know. I mean, my food's pretty freaking good. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I really can't think of anything. A personal one is I made what I call death jam now, is I made a bacon jalapeno pineapple jam, which sounds great on paper, but then I found out I was allergic to jalapeno. So that didn't go over so well. No, death jam. But I'm sure there's little bits here and there, like you have a bad day in the kitchen or, okay. I tried to make, because, we're working on some gluten-free and healthier type options. That's not my forte. I'm really good with butter and fat and flour and comfort, delicious food. I tried to make a gluten-free pumpkin bread, and I almost broke my toe because I dropped it. And it was just, it was so bad that it's like, you couldn't even soak it and make bread pudding out of it. Like, it was just horrible. So I'll probably be bringing in someone else to help me with that part of it. Sometimes you got to admit where you lack and ask for help. So if there's any really good gluten-free bakers out there, come my way, because I need to put some things on the menu. People are requesting like crazy.
Well, it was vegan. It wasn't gluten-free. So never mind. That was, I went to a dinner party at somebody's house who was vegan, and I made a vegan cake. And they went, this is insane, and it was left over. And the next morning, one of the people at the house said, did Marcus get enjoy it? She says, oh, I ate the leftover before he got up. And I want to say something. There was a quote that you put out there, and let me see. I put it in big letters so I could find it. And then, of course, here was your quote. You said, My food is good. People need to eat it.
Yeah.
Straightforward.
Yep. Well, I think you saw that in this interview too. That's how I feel. My food is good. People need to eat it.
Okay.
There's
Remind
a lot
people.
of not really good food out there, you know?
Okay. And the last question is, what didn't I ask you that I should have?
Well, I guess I answered it for myself, my future plans, which would be one to open in the New England area, maybe something in Florida. My goal now, I know about 6 years ago, I did some interviews and my goal was to open 10 restaurants in 10 years. And I was super ready and exciting. And then, real world hit. And it was like, okay, take it down a notch, Sarah. That was a lot. It must have been a manic moment. And now I realize that truly what I want to work towards is probably franchising. I didn't think I'd be able to handle that because I'm so type A and mine and control freak, the Virgo. But again, going back to my food is really good and people should eat it. Then it needs to be available in more places. And I am only one person. I can't handle more than 2-3 locations myself. And it would be really cool to be able to offer availability for women and stuff like that, to have other Blue Moon franchises to open up and kind of use it, to do good in the world, not just for your soul and your waistline. Hey, but for,
what's a waistline?
We do egg whites and fresh fruit too, but come on, you want the captain, you want the shut the fluff up French toast, which is pretzels and peanut butter and marshmallow. And, I'm French toast girl. I come up with all sorts of weird, whimsical. I want people to laugh. It's like fun. Have fun with eating.
Well, I want to thank you. Everybody, if you want to learn about Blue Moon and what's going on, you need to go to their Facebook page.
Yes.
Forget the website that we put up, because that's not up to date. So on Facebook, I believe it's Blue Moon Cafe and Blue Moon 2, and that's TOO.
Yeah.
All right. So Facebook, Blue Moon Cafe and Blue Moon 2. And then Instagram is Blue Moon Baltimore. And all that information will be floating up in the notes. And I wanted to thank you. I look forward to coming in and binging on some food.
Heck yeah.
And remind everybody, Fells Point and Federal Hill. Got to go in there. She's got traveling artwork.
Yeah, artwork.
It's
that's
gallery.
Something to talk about. I sell all the artwork. I'll sell everything in the restaurant. Everything is for sale. That's part of the fun of it, is the decoration and to support local artists. And, I don't charge a commission for hanging. There's none of that. I want them to come bring their work in and people to buy it and take it home and appreciate it. Like, support your local artists.
Perfect. So stay warm.
Yes.
Stay healthy.
Yes.
And to the next Blue Moon.
Yes.
Hopefully it's in Rockport.
That's what I'm talking about,
Lobster capital, the lobster festival up there. I'll be there.
I'm working on a recipe with my buddy Chris Franzoni. We're going to be doing a lobster roll Benedict. So keep your eye open for that. That's going to be a really good one.
Okay, well, we all know Chris. He's on Instagram, Eat More Baltimore.
Yes.
He has a mere 100 and some thousand followers.
I know, just those few.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do some announcement.
Thank you, Dara.
And Jen will get you out of the picture. Bye. You're gone. Okay, everyone. So next week, our guest is going to be Chef Liz Thompson, who had to refocus her career after a partial loss of sight. A classically trained pastry chef, culinary instructor with an MBA in marketing and finance. Her story is a fascinating one. Recipe development, restaurant consultant. She's really quite interesting, so do tune in next week. If you would like to contact me, my socials at Dara Cooks. My email is food@jmoreliving.com. The show will be up on the Facebook page, Jmore Living, and jmoreliving.com for perpetuity. We appreciate when you share the show, the link to your friends and family. It helps it grow. And as always, may your plates remain full. I will see you next week.